I have decided when I started ICI Fund to focus only on Israeli companies. Of course, that I believe that it's one of the strongest, if not the strongest, startup ecosystem. So we have thousands of companies established every year. We're only second to the Silicon Valley in terms of number of startups established every year. In the record years, it was almost 2,000 a year. And we are number one in terms of number of startups per capita.
Hey everyone, this is Prashant and I'll be host for the VC 10X podcast. And today we have Gili Elkin with us. Gili is a co founder and managing partner at ICI Fund. Gili's vision is to transform critical industries with AI tech solutions led by Israeli founders. In this episode, we talk about Gili's story and how she started investing. How has the ICI Fund evolved over the years? What does she look for in an investment opportunity? Perspective on the Israeli startup ecosystem, how they help Israeli founders get access to the US markets, and lots more. So, without wasting any time, let's dive straight in. This episode is sponsored by my own podcasting agency called Podcast 10X, where I help VCs start and run their own podcast. While I was running VC 10X, this podcast that you're listening to right now, I asked my VC guests, why don't you start your own podcast? I mean, it's the best form of marketing for VCs. As they say, VC is a people play more than even a capital play. A podcast enables you to put your people at the front, your portfolio founders, your partners, and co investors. It's a great way to build a brand and win competitive deals. It activates all your marketing channels in a single shot, be it YouTube or blog post or newsletter or social media. Everything gets activated in a single shot. And I get the same response from all the VCs that it's a lot of work and we don't have the time for it. I said, all right, let me handle the work for you from pre recording, editing, publishing to making social media clips. All you have to do is show up on a call, hit record, do the recording using the well researched outline we provide you with, and you're done. We handle everything else. You know what they said? All right, let's give it a shot. So if you are a VC and want to up your marketing and branding game, I'd love to work with you. And if you're thinking there are too many VC podcasts already, remember there are way more VC firms out there. And if you're not standing out, you're losing out. So if you want to work with me on starting your podcast, go to podcast10x.com and book a call today. I'll add the link in the description and show notes below. Look forward to working with you. Hey, Gili, so good to have you on the VC 10X podcast. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you on. To start things off, can we first have your story and how you started investing?
Okay, not sure where you want me to start, but many years ago, I worked at EY, at Ernst& Young. So before that, I was a lawyer. Um, and after working as a lawyer, I transitioned to EY, Ernst& Young, and I gave tax advice to US-based and European-based VC firms investing in Israeli companies. And that's when I fell in love with the industry. And I said, wow, this is what I want to do when I grow up. But I had to study more. So I went to Stanford, got my MBA degree. After that, I had a very short and nice to have entrepreneurial experience. And a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I thought to myself that it's time to start a fund like I always wanted. So I moved to the US, to Colorado, to start ICI Fund, raised first fund, almost everything in Colorado. And 7 years ago or 6 years ago, in 2018, started investing through Fund One, invested the entire fund until end of 2023, and then started investing out of Fund Two, which I'm investing through now and still raising.
That's amazing. So, back when you were thinking about starting your own VC fund, uh, why didn't you do it in Israel itself and move to US? Tell me more about that.
So first, my business ties were in the US because I studied there, and the real market is in the US. So Israeli companies are started in Israel, but the market for the Israeli companies is mainly in the US. So Israel is very, very small. There is no market here. And the goal was to raise US money from US investors, mainly business people, that will be able to connect the Israeli founders with the US market. So the goal was to start a US fund, invest in Israeli companies, and create the community of US investors and Israeli founders, and help the Israeli companies sell into the US market.
Right, totally. That's very interesting. And can you share more about the ICI Fund and what's the investment thesis here?
Of course. So ICI, first, it means Innovation Community Intelligence. It's a US based fund registered in Delaware. All of our investors, as mentioned, are US based, but we only invest in Israeli founders. So they could have and start an Israeli company or a US based company, but the founders should be Israelis. So we invest only in Israelis, and they develop AI solutions that secure our future. So improving something about our future, selling into critical industries. We invest pre-seed stages, sometimes seed stages too. Very rare that we do A or B, but our sweet spot is pre-seed stages. We create a community of founders, and we connect them, as I mentioned before, with US investors. We have an approach of founders first approach. We believe that founders are the center of everything. They know everything, they know the best, and only when they ask for help, we give that help. So we're not forcing ourselves on anyone. We would like to be as helpful as possible, but not waste their time. And we always we try to take board seat. We also ask for another seat, for observer seat. So and we are starting to have the CEOs that we invested in sit as observers in other companies, in order to strengthen the community and have them learn from a different experience by sitting on the board. So that's our investment thesis. We're industry agnostic, so we invest across industries.
Totally, that's very interesting. And talking about when you're looking at deals, what are the key things you're looking at in a deal or in a founder to make the decision whether to invest or not?
People. Since we invest in pre-seed stage, everything is about people. So there is almost nothing in the company yet, anything that was built. We are, of course, checking all of the boxes. So we're looking at the size of the market. We're looking for product market fit. So we will interview potential clients and see if the solution could bring business value to the client. Of course, we look at the competition. We look at the technology. We look at the potential of the product. We look, of course, at AI, if there is a deep AI in the company. But then, after we checked all of the boxes, we spend a lot of time with the founders, separately with each one of them, but as a group too. And we look in different things when we look at founders. So of course we look at their CV, and we check that they have very strong CVs. So studying in good universities, have a solid career background, of course, and everything else. But after we check those boxes, when we speak with them, we want to see that they have the grit to succeed, that they will do everything and anything to succeed. Market can change, product can change, everything can change. But if they have the grit to pivot and make the necessary changes, and they would do everything and anything to succeed, those are the founders we're looking for. We want to see also that the CEO, that she or he are coming from the industry that they are selling into. If there are more than one founder, we want to see that the founders have been working with each other for many years, that they are going to face the many, many challenges together and know how to solve conflicts, resolve conflicts. So a lot of effort is we talk with their references about past experience. So everything, we do believe that everything is about the founders. We want to see that they are, of course, in the right stage, that they have a solid business plan. They know how to plan budget. We know that it's going to change many times, but we want to understand their thinking process. So it takes time. It takes, I think we are looking at around 200 companies before making one investment. And it takes us, since we think we found the right company to invest. I think it takes us another maybe 2 months to get to a sign, maybe more sometimes, maybe three, to get to a deal. It takes time. It's the hardest thing of what I'm doing is finding the right founders. And it's not that we find them, it needs to be a fit, perfect fit, because they could be the best founders ever, but sometimes we are not a fit for them. So we ask them to do the same due diligence about us, to talk with all of the founders that we invested in, and to hear what uh, assistance we're offering. So it has to be a mutual fit, not just one side.
Absolutely, completely agree. And more founders should be doing the diligence on VCs as well, and paying more attention to that. And love that you're promoting it yourself. And you're investing in it mostly or just in Israeli founders, right? They can be either located in Israel or maybe located in the US, right? So how are
Anywhere,
you doing? And
anywhere, anywhere, yeah,
anywhere, anywhere.
anywhere.
Okay. So how are you sourcing these deals? Do you have like scouts across the world, or how do you do that sourcing Israeli founders?
Right. And again, this is the toughest part of what I'm doing, finding the best founders. So we have, in Israel is very small, everybody knows everyone. So we have a tight network with other VCs that invest in our stages, but also with VCs that invest in later stages. If they find a great team that is too early for them, they will send them our way. We have a network of incubators, of angel investors. We participate in conferences to get our word out, to increase our brand awareness. Uh, but I think that the best referrals are from the founders we work with. They know us. They know exactly what we like to invest in, and their network is very similar to them. So they refer other founders to us. Sometimes we are looking on LinkedIn or other websites with a very large databases of Israeli companies. So sometimes we do the outreach first, but most often the best founders come to us through other founders, or we just find them by chance. It happened to us a few times that we just bumped into them by chance.
Right, totally, very interesting. And talking about both seats, that's somewhat often debated in the ecosystem that when your startup is too early in the pre-seed seed stage, you should not be giving away both seats at that earlier stage. So, what's your perspective on that, and what role do you play, especially at that earlier stage, as a board member to help the startup succeed?
Great question. So I agree with the statement that you started with. You shouldn't just give board seat to anyone. If the person is not going to be helpful to you, you shouldn't put him or her on your board. If it's someone from the industry and they could be an advisor to you, I think that's much better. So we're looking for companies, for entrepreneurs that would appreciate our value and would be interested in our help on the board and outside the boardroom. So I have a different approach to board. Um, I don't believe that the purpose of the board is to sit there and get updates from the CEO and give feedback to the CEO where they could be better or what they need to improve. I do believe that the goal of the board is to just be helpful for the founders. So I would allocate, if I were a CEO, in a board meeting, I would allocate that time to think about the issues where I need other perspectives, other viewpoints, and just ask questions and ask the board questions, not just give updates. Because I don't think that during an hour, 2 hours, once a quarter, you can be involved or understand exactly what's happening in the company. So I talk with the founders regularly, maybe once a week, or sometimes once in 2 weeks. Some founders are not interested in that, so we don't have conversation. That's okay. Again, we're not pushing our help, but the more that we are involved, the more information that we have, and they know that, we can support them more. For example, I'm constantly talking with new VCs, US-based VCs that are looking to make investments. I open the conversation by asking them what are they looking for and what stages. And the more I know about our companies, the better I can refer them to them. So if I'm very involved in a company, I can share more details. I can sell them much better than if I'm not. So I believe entrepreneurs should only take money from people that could be helpful to them, not waste their time. Put on the board again only people that can support their growth, and not use the board meetings to give updates. Those can be given by sending presentations, and board members, they need to spend time and read them. And if they didn't, it's okay. It's not how they need to spend their time. The only thing that they need to do is ask, I think, for different viewpoints and advice in matters that are important to them and that they need more support in.
Absolutely. That's a great approach there. And talking about the Israeli startup ecosystem, which is known by everyone, a very strong ecosystem around the world. How do you look at the Israeli startup ecosystem, and how's it taking shape, and what does it look like currently?
Yeah. Obviously, if I have decided when I started ICI Fund to focus only on Israeli companies, of course, that I believe that it's one of the strongest, if not the strongest, startup ecosystem. So we have thousands of companies established every year. We're only second to the Silicon Valley in terms of number of startups established every year. In the record years, it was almost 2,000 a year. And we are number one in terms of number of startups per capita. Before the economic crisis, in 2021, $26 billion were invested in Israeli companies. Most of the money comes from the US. We're very strong on specific areas, cybersecurity, of course, fintech, finance tech, food tech, healthcare. So water technologies. So we have some areas that we're very, very strong because of necessity, of course. Now there are many defense tech companies that are founded. Talking about the period now, surprisingly, we see the highest level of founders starting companies. And again, we are looking at pre-seed startups. Only strong companies would start a company during a war, during that time. So the level of companies that we see now is the highest ever. Companies are very lean in their expenses, in their budget because of the situation. We feel that there is less competition investing in companies, and therefore it is the best time to invest in Israeli companies. We know that the war has to end sometime. Everyone is hoping that it's going to be soon, and competition is going to come back. So now, before that happens, it's better to invest, and that's why we have increased the pace of fundraising for the fund on one hand, and on the second hand, investing in Israeli companies.
Yeah, certainly. That's very interesting to note. So, is it that because of the war, the dollars have slowed from the U.S. and other markets that are flowing into Israeli market?
Yeah, not only because of the war, because of the economic situation too. So it
Right.
started with the economic situation. The war didn't improve the situation for sure. So yeah, you see a reduction in foreign money invested now in Israeli companies. We are a foreign fund too. We are a US based fund, but we were successful raising funds for the second fund. So we are sitting on money and we would like to invest that money. So we do believe strongly that the period of this war is going to be over soon, and competition is coming back, and the valuations are going to rise very fast. And therefore, we do believe that we need to invest as fast as we can now. So certainly one of the factors is the war. Another thing that I didn't say is that because of the war, many technologies are emerging now to deal with everything that is happening in the war. And those technologies, very strong technologies that are sometimes are started in the military, in the intelligence tech units, are now, they take them to different industries. So we have more and more technologies emerging. And if you look back at history, during crisis, those are the periods that the best technologies have emerged out of Israel. So yeah, that's why we are increasing investments now.
Right, totally makes sense. And so one of the big value adds of the ICI fund is that you are going to get your portfolio companies access to the US market, right? That's being promised, right? So can you help us understand how do you go about doing that in practice?
Okay, of course. So first, I have partners with me in ICI Fund. So Tim Jones is located in Colorado in Fort Collins. He is also part of a nonprofit tech incubator, Innosphere Ventures. We use their resources for research and for market access. We have another partner based in LA, Adam Button. So we use his network also to open access to our Israeli founders. And I have one more partner in Israel, Ari Goldfarb. He's the CEO of one of the companies we invested out of Fund One, Can and he also helps founders, but in other ways, mostly in other ways, but also connecting them to VCs and investors that he already met in the US market. And we are about to add another partner in Israel, which is going to be in public in 1 month, that he is an expert in AI and cyber, but also he comes from a Fortune 500 company, and he has a very wide network within the Fortune 500 companies. So we're using all of our networks to reach out to decision makers in the US, so in large corporations, enterprises, governments, cities, and just reach out to them, have a call to explain about ICI Fund, about the investments we do, ask them about their needs, and then we just keep in touch with them. And I've been doing that for 10 years now. And just whenever we have a company that meets their needs, we send their way. And it's not only potential clients, also future investors. So large US VCs, angel investors, and everyone that is in our network. So that's one of my main tasks during the day, to connect with investors. Oh, and by the way, through our investors too. So we have a group of advisors too, coming from different industries. Mark Zitter out of California, for example, he's a very successful entrepreneur from the healthcare industry. He has a lot of connections in the healthcare industry. So he connects directly with our companies and help them get access to the healthcare sector, but also to a lot of VCs in California and in his network. Paul Levitan is a successful entrepreneur too in the food tech industry. He's also an advisor. So he helps companies to get access in that sector. We have Ben Gio, he's a neurosurgeon. So he's also, and all of them, by the way, are helping us during the due diligence, but also open the doors in the US market. So Ben Gio is a neurosurgeon. He will open doors in the healthcare sector. Warren Andres, he's the CEO, he's from Andres Construction, president of Andres Construction. And he opens doors in the construction area. So he will introduce our founders to general contractor when we invest in companies in the construction area. And we have many more advisors, different areas that help our companies grow in different industries.
Yeah, very interesting. And so, can you give us some names of companies that you've bagged and how they got access to the US market and how they're doing now?
Yeah, we have many, many great companies. I'll give you maybe a few examples from different industries. So one of our companies is Kandu with a K, Kandu. They are doing AI in the wastewater industry. So making the entire wastewater network transparent to cities, show them everything that is happening there. Now they have an AI agent, Streamy, that just talks with the operators and with the decision making in every cities and utilities, water utilities, telling them where they have issues and what issues they need to uh, get take care of immediately, saving them a lot of money, helping them with the treatment plant. So at the beginning, Kandu, when we invested, they were working with an Israeli utility, and we started reaching out to governors. So we met a few governors in the United States, and we met some mayors in major cities. For example, Kate Gallego, mayor of Phoenix, very, very smart woman. Her background is in water too. And we helped them get to the CEO of the water utility in Phoenix too. And they have a large project there. In El Paso, so we met the governor, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas. A few years ago, we also met the CEO of El Paso Water, John Ballou, very innovative person. We got a meeting for him and the CEO of Kandu, and it's one of their largest projects now. But we also met Yvonne Forrest. She was the director of Houston Water. She now sits as an advisor at ICI Fund, helping us get access to water companies. So we just and of course we connected Kandu in a few investors in the US. So that's just one example how we try to support companies and other companies in different areas. For example, Genda. Genda uh, is located in Texas, by the way, in Austin. Is increasing safety and efficiency during the construction process using AI platform that helps managers, general managers, understand exactly what tasks are being performed 24/7 during on a construction site. So we helped Genda connect with general contractors in Texas and have potential clients there, and also connected them with some VCs in the US that eventually invested in them. So again, example from a different industry. So every company is different, is in a different industry, but our goal is always to connect a company with a potential client and a potential investor.
Right, that's very impressive. And I see that all these companies that you mentioned have an AI component to it, right? And I believe a lot it's the same for a lot of your portfolio. So, since you're investing into the AI technology and how it can improve different industries, can you share how do you think about AI in different industries, and which industries do you think AI can bring a transformational change in?
So most industries and AI is everything today and has been everywhere since the, of course, 70s. It's just a great buzzword now. I think that it will bring the most transformative change where there is no technology, almost when nothing is digitized. There are many conservative industries that we love investing in technology, selling into them. So construction, as I said, water, real estate. But I think the one that is going to be the last to adopt, but is going to have a transformative implication, a transformative result because of AI is the healthcare industry. Again, very hard to adopt, very slow to adopt, but we made investment in three companies so far, looking at the fourth one now, that are going to transform the healthcare industry. One, Predictamed, is using AI to predict autoimmune diseases ahead of time. So looking at medical records and doctor visits, analyzing those data and predicting which patient will have autoimmune disease within 4 years. For example, it's a big change. They're working with Hogg Hospital. They worked with Stanford Heart, Mayo Clinic, making a lot of progress. So that's very exciting. Another company that we invested in is Feminay, so Femin AI. They are developing a home device to screen for breast cancer using AI. So replacing mammography. So that's a big change. Another company that we invested in is Reborn. Reborn is developing a helmet to do a ultrasound for the brain for the first time, replacing CT. So with the use of AI algorithm, they were successful penetrating the bone around the brain and getting a very clear image of the brain. So
Right.
I
That's
think those areas are transformative, and we are looking at a company that would like to measure stress in babies, kids, helpless people, uh, old people, just by using AI to measure
right.
temperature and taking other measurements. Yep.
That's very interesting and very impressive startups that you've backed, and a lot of them operating in big and technologically I mean deep sectors. You need deep knowledge of the industry to be able to invest in these sectors, right? That's what I mean to say. So do you think as a VC firm it's helpful to have partners who have a specific expertise in a certain sector, because they're going to bring in deals with their specific expertise, knowing where are the gaps and what technology can be big in that particular industry. And like you just told in the episode that you have partners who are focused on healthcare, someone in the water industry. So do you think that actually really helps you attract these kinds of these deals and diligence them properly and see the opportunity there?
Yeah, great question. We can't have expertise in every industry we invest. Even if we had, it was not enough. When we do due diligence, we look for experts, potential clients, to give us their feedback. So if it's a healthcare, we would look for a few, not even one, not two, three physicians, three hospitals, three decision makers that will tell us, yes, I will be first, we will look for users, so physicians. Yes, I'm interested in using that tool when it comes out. Yes, it's going to bring me value. But then we will need to talk with the decision maker of the hospital, the one that spends the budget, to say, yes, this brings me ROI. Yes, it brings me profit. I understand the business value and I will pay for it. And this is how much I predict to pay for it. So we will need to get feedback, but it's not enough. We need to speak with other experts, maybe other investors, incubators, other hospitals. Some of them have innovation department that sees many innovations. So we would need to talk about competition. What have you seen out there? Is this the best thing that you've seen so far? So it takes a lot of time to do due diligence. And if we have any doubt, we will not invest. Sometimes it's too early to know all of the questions. So we need to bet, of course, on the founders. But we are speaking with a lot of experts in different industries, depends on what industry we are investing in order to get those answers. So even if one of us came from an industry, it would not be enough. We need a few people to tell us their views and convince us that there is a product market fit.
Totally makes sense. And now let's talk about the portfolio construction approach you're taking at ICI Fund.
Yeah. So I didn't plan it. I have to be honest with you. It's not that I know, okay, I'm going to have two construction company, one prop tech, three healthcare, one water. No. Originally, I was focusing on water and cyber. in Fund One, I said, okay, only water and cyber. But then I saw that if it's only water and cyber, if it's very limited, then I might need to compromise on other things to get many investments. And I started meeting other founders from different industries that I just couldn't resist, and I had to invest. Like Genda in the construction, I never planned to invest in construction until I met Genda, and then I invested in Peles, doing, by the way, AI to optimize the planning of MEP systems, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems by using AI. And again, after Genda, after I invested in Genda, so every time I find a new industry, we go through the due diligence process. We see there is a perfect fit. We invest. And then sometimes I say, okay, that's it. My goal is to invest in as many industries, to diversify the industries we invest in, because it's very hard to go to general contractors, for example, in the US and talk about more than one company. So my goal was to have one company of each industry. But then again, I met Peles. I could not resist. We invested in Peles. We had the second company in the construction area. And then I said, okay, that's it. No more construction tech. And I ran into urban mix. It's not construction tech. It's prop tech, so property management or real estate management. So urban mix, and they're based in New York, by the way. What they do, they help real estate developer plan the leasing, better plan the leasing of apartments and renovation of apartments. So they created a 3D platform to do that. Again, I met them and I said, wow, it's just, I meet the founders that I can't resist investing in them. They are exceptional and we invest. So overall, the strategy is to invest across industries, only AI that secure future. But when it comes to reality, it's we meet founders, exceptional founders, and we just invest because of them. Eventually, of course, after we check all of the other boxes, if we meet founders that we think that are superstars, exceptional, we will invest.
Right, totally. That's the ideal case to be, where a founder is irresistible and you just have to invest.
I'll tell
So
you. I'll tell you another example.
yeah.
Sorry, it just came up to my mind. So cyber. In fun, after I saw uh, I looked at many cyber companies. I decided not to invest in cyber for some reason. I said, okay, we don't have the expertise there. It's so crowded in Israel, so many cyber companies, and we decided not to invest in cyber. We said, okay, let's focus on areas where we have more competitive advantage, because there are many specific funds in Israel that focus only on cyber, and everyone goes to them. But then I met Suri Data, and she's based in New York. I met Lee Capone, and after meeting her, I said, okay, I just can't resist. And it's one of our fastest growing companies now. So we made an investment in cyber. Same thing happened with Eureka, which was acquired after a few months after we invested. And same thing happened with Illustria. Met the founders and I said, okay, those are exceptional founders. We must invest. And we made 3 cyber investments. So if you ask me today, I can tell you, I don't think I'm going to make other cyber investments, but if the right founder will come, and we did do another security company, not cyber, but we invested in Rangers AI. They prevent frauds from banks. So it's a security company. She's based in Florida, by the way. So you could say that we did do another security company, but again, because of the founder. So I do have a vision, but it changes every time I meet exceptional founders.
Totally. So LPs are going to have a hard time figuring out what are the sectors you're going to focus on, but it's going to be all good because you're focusing on quality founders. So that's what
And
matters.
and all of them, so we focus on AI that secure
Hmm.
our future. So AI and improving something about our future and selling
Right.
into critical industries. Yeah,
Got it. Got it. So that's going to be there, right?
that's the focus. Yeah, that never
Awesome.
changes. But different industries, yes.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Right. Awesome. Moving to my last main question before we close this out. What's been your biggest learning investing in startups over the years?
Big question. Um, I think I started it with that maybe because it is my biggest learning that everything is about people. Everything, everything. It starts with the founders. It starts with the CEO, but with his co-founders and their relationship, with the investors that they get into the company, their advisors, clients, even everyone that they surround themselves. It's all about people and relationships. And I think I learned that sometimes in the hard way. And as we grew with the companies, so now 6 years into Fund One and almost 1 year into Fund Two, we got to learn the challenges, many challenges that every startup is facing in every stage, and different challenges, different level of challenges, but there are many challenges. And only if you have the right people, very strong people, again, people with grit, and people that know how to nurture relationships with others, people that are transparent with everyone that is around them, people who develop trust, then you can succeed. So success follow exceptional people. So today I believe that everything is about people, everything.
Totally. Awesome learning there. And to close this out, let's do a rapid fire round wherein I'll ask you six quick questions about the investing you're doing, and you have to give six quick answers,
Okay.
right? Awesome. So the first one is, what are the sectors and regions you invest in?
So only Israeli founders, anyway, sector agnostic, but has to be deep AI that secures our future.
Right. What's the typical stage of investment?
Pre-seed and seed stages.
Wait, what's the typical check size you put in?
250K first check to 500K check, and we make more investments, follow-on investments, and we bring our LPs to co-invest with us.
Right. And do you lead rounds?
Yeah, most often. But we can co-lead and we can follow sometimes.
Right. Where can founders get in touch in case there's a direct way?
LinkedIn is the best.
Awesome. Last one, where can our listeners follow you?
Here, they can listen here or follow me on LinkedIn. Yep.
Totally, totally. I'll make sure to put the link in the show notes below to the fund website and to your LinkedIn so that our listeners can get there easily. Thanks so much for doing this with us,
Yeah.
Gili. It's been a pleasure
Thank
hosting you.
you. Yeah, thank you so much for all you are doing for VCs. That's incredible. I looked at your work. I recommend the listeners to listen to other interviews you made. I love them. Very insightful. So thank you for everything you're doing, and thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much.